I will signal you just now.
Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I'm pleased to announce the arrival of the President of the Republic of Liberia, Her Excellency Mrs. Ellen Johnson Sirleaf.
Her Excellency President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, distinguished guests, all other protocols observed. Permit me please to break from the set protocol and invite a member of the clergy to bless this auspicious occasion. It is my honor to welcome Father Terry Quay of St. Barnabas Church, Unification City, to bless the occasion.
The Lord be with you. Let us pray. Holy and gracious Father, we thank you for this opportunity that you are giving us, and we thank you for this great occasion for the dedication of this terminal. We pray you that your constant presence will be here, and those who have made us to be here today, may your blessing continue to be upon them. These and many blessings we ask through Christ our Lord.
At this time, I'd like to welcome Mrs. Paula Ferez-Harvey, Deputy General Manager for Technical Services, Liberia Airport Authority, to introduce the ceremony. Mrs. Harvey.
Her Excellency, the President of the Republic of Liberia, Madam Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, officials of government here present, the Ambassador of the People's Republic of China and other embassies, members of the Fourth Estate, members of the Diplomatic Corps, the Chairman and members of the Board of Directors Authority, representatives of the China Exim Bank and China Harbor Engineering Company, members of the business community, fellow teammates, ladies and gentlemen. It's a pleasure that I stand here on behalf of the Liberia Airport Authority to welcome you to this historic occasion, marking the dedication and tour of the brand new passenger terminal. We are delighted to have you participate and share in this program here at the Roberts International Airport's Unification City, Lower Mainland of Liberia. Your continuous support and presence bear a testament of your faith and trust in the work that we continue to do as we strive to improve the airport sector in Liberia. In all major construction, there are three main stages of completion which require acknowledgement. The groundbreaking, to indicate finalization of agreement paperwork and commencement of actual works. The dedication or roof capping, which also indicates that all major construction aspects have been successfully completed. And the final opening, which indicates that all finishing and testing works have completed. Today's program will mark the completion of all major construction aspects of the works, and hence the dedication and walkthrough. There will be a short history of the project, remarks by some distinguished guests and Madam President, as well as performances. Thank you for coming to these achievements with us. Ladies and gentlemen, the program.
At this time, it is a pleasure to welcome Mr. Robert F. Morris, Deputy General for Administration, Deputy General Manager for Administration, Liberia Airport Authority, who will give us a brief history of the project. Mr. Morris.
Her Excellency, Madam Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, President Republic of Liberia, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, all protocols observed. It gives me great pleasure and honor to provide a brief history of the Roberts International Airport Terminal Upgrade and Expansion Project. On April 29, 2016, following several high-level negotiations, the government of Liberia, represented by Honorable Amra M. Kone, then Minister of Finance and Development Planning, Councillor Witunia Y. Dixon Barnes, then Acting Minister of Justice, Mr. Will Baku Freeman, Managing Director, Liberia Airport Authority, and the China Harbor Engineering Company Limited, signed an EPC contract for construction of this modern terminal building. It can be recalled that on November 21st, 2016, President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf broke grounds for the commencement of construction works on this terminal. This was preceded by feasibility studies and topographical surveys conducted by the contractor in line with the identification of the appropriate site for construction. Construction commenced in March of 2017 and has progressed steadily to the structure present here today. Madam President, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, today we are gathered here to celebrate the completion of a very important phase of this project. We invite you to celebrate with us our achievements in this iconic landmark, which is a significant milestone in the advancement of our country. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Morris. At this juncture, we have a brief performance by the Liberian Chinese dance troupe. The Liberian Chinese dance troupe.
You got me on my feet, oh my God, Marco, you bad. You got me on my feet, cause you got beautiful mind. You wanna take this on target, I do my own target, it's on target, I do my own, I got this on target, I party on target, on target, I party on target, singing. You my heart, I will give you anything. Just ask me, you don't have to worry. Other girl they jealous of you, my boo boo. Yeah. Don't we like it? 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 Kapagia ewanina. La fesupe, kapagia ewanina. La fesupe, kapagia ewanina. La fesupe, kapagia ewanina. Baby, you got me on my feet. Oh my God, Marco, you bad. You deserve to be a queen. All they do make a lesson you. No matter, cause you got beautiful mind. Where you want that? It's on target. I do my own target. It's on target. I do my own. It's on target. I party on target. It's on target, baby. I party on target.
When TV, your body expression is going into motion. You're one extraordinary. Iwali kamae, baby. You too far, that you. See how the way that you look in your body, your body.
Turn around and post it. I take some photos. Turn around and post it. I take some photos. Turn around and post it. It's meant to be your music for the future.
Thank you. We'll now go into our remarks. And to begin our remarks, it is an honor to welcome Zhu, Ambassador Extraordinary of China. Ambassador Zhu.
Her Excellency, Madam President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, and members of the government and members of the board and the distinguished guests. Today is a big day because we will do several dedication programs. So firstly, on behalf of the government of the People's Republic of China, I would like to extend warm congratulations on the completion of the renovation of the runway and the roof capping of the new terminal building of Roberts International Airport renovation and expansion project, ministerial complex, and annexes of legislature building. And the roof capping ceremony is a tradition in China for house building, because like climbing a mountain, when you capping the roof, you cap the roof, it's at the highest point of the construction. So it is time to celebrate. And the rest of the job after that will be going down to the ground. So the roof capping of this building represents a new height in the relationship between China and Liberia, because there will be a no cap of China and Liberia. And I would like to start the presentations of these projects, beginning with some of the catchy words in China today. That is Xi Jinping thought. This is a very catchy word in China now. And the Xi Jinping thought is all about socialism with Chinese. It's easy to understand, but to the people outside China, they will feel a little bit difficult to use words with Chinese characteristics. So, with these questions, I will speak the following. Since I'm here in Liberia, I've always told that rainy season is not a good time for outdoor work, especially for construction work. The ministerial complex and the annexes of the legislature building broke the ground in late April this year, which means all the work have been done throughout the whole rainy season. Within 6 months of the rainy season, our people made the main structure of the civil works standing out there in the Congo and Capitol building, Capitol Hill area. And they played a hit-and-run game with the rain. Everybody witnessed the speed. And Public Works Ministry people knows the quality. They have a technical team working with our team. This is part of the Chinese characteristics. The airport project is a typical example of efficient operation and coordination among governments, finances, including Saudi fund, contractors and supervisors in the process of approval and implementation of a project. As the follow-up of Madam President's visit to China, the Chinese government and the Exim Bank of China set up the new building project in an unprecedentedly expeditious way. China Harbor is presenting us a state-of-the-art architecture here. The whole process of the project embodies modern and high technology. China Harbor engineers designed a 360-degree virtual reality presentation program with Beam VR software application, which facilitates the exchanges and understanding and communication among all stakeholders. This is the ever first time for the Chinese construction companies to adopt this technology in the project practice. This is also the Chinese characteristics. And I would like to add more on the runway renewal project because it is pretty dramatic. The requirement, I think those people from LLA and PDU will remember the requirements of the project is very, very demanding. Firstly, everything should be done in parallel with the normal operation of the port. That means no shutdown during construction in the runway. This is one very difficult job. And secondly, the very pressing because of the ECOWAS summit, firstly planned at the end of the May, and they are required to finish the basic first layer work before mid-May. Because of the typhoon, the climate reason, the mobilizations postponed. So they have started their job at early March to mid-May. Only 2.5 months left for the project. This, in normal terms, this is a mission impossible. But, I believe that these days in the world, only the Chinese companies have the guts to take up such a kind of tough job. And they made it. They made it. It is not so easy to make it. And in the whole process, I was deeply involved. It is my first time in my whole life. So technical, in a very technical way. Nerve-wracking process to me. They have to change their plan, their working method, because normally if you shut down all the airport, it's the runway will be paved in a way like building a road. But when you are working at the same time with the normal operation of the airport, you should change their working method. It takes some of the negotiations. I was for the first time to know something about the road and the runway engineering. After that, if I'm not a half professional, I think at least a half amateur for it. The thing is like in the morning, I talked with the Sino-Hydro people they not bring, they just, teaching me a lesson, let me know about all the technical things about their plan in Chinese. Then in the afternoon, I will talk to the PD and other technical people in my broken English about all these technical things. Oh my God. Sometimes my English fail me, I use a pen to draw a picture. So, although it's a hard-working process, I enjoy it. I learn a lot from it, especially the runway engineering. So, anyway, we have got all the parties involved support. The government of Liberia, that is the owner side, and the supervising side, signed the amendment for this. So all this takes time because we have only 2.5 months for the runway. So the outcome, everybody knows it. So this time, Sino-Hydro played a hit-and-run game with both airlines, flies, and the rain. And they finally beat the schedule and accomplished Mission Impossible ahead of the deadline with their professional wisdom and spirit. The renewed one runway assured the safe operation of the airport and guaranteed the smooth proceeding of the ECOWAS summit meeting. This project is not only a development support, but also a strong political support from China to the diplomacy of Africa. This is also Chinese characteristic. All these projects have laid a big milestone and a cooperative relationship between China and Liberia. My big thumb up goes out Sino-Hydro, JPC, and the JC. Our people have actually showcased how we call it, things can be done with Chinese characteristics. I would like to thank the Liberian government, including the Ministry of State, Ministry of Public Works, PDU, Liberia Airport Authority, the supervisor side, and all the friends for all the support they have rendered to these projects. With the new ministerial complex and annex legislation, including Liberia government can provide better service to the people. With the renewed runway and the forthcoming brand new passenger terminal, Liberia Airport Authority will have improved capacity to facilitate the flow of passengers and goods. I believe this can help ushering more airlines and inject dynamics to the recovery of Liberia. China will always be a sincere friend, partner, and a brother of Liberia, as well as Africa. Thank you.
Thank you, Ambassador Yu. At this point, we'd like to welcome Mr. Li Yi. He's the Vice President of China Harbor Engineering Company. Mr. Yi.
Excellency, Madam Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, President of the Republic of Liberia. His Excellency, Mr. Zhang Yue, Ambassador of the People's Republic of China in Liberia. Ministries Ministry of Finance and Development Planning, Ministry of Public Works, President Delivery Unit, Liberia Airport Authority, and members of other national officers of the government of the Republic of Liberia. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It's my great pleasure to be here at the roof capping ceremony of the Rebus International Airport Upgrade and Expansion Project. The successful ceremony of this new terminal is a model project. More importantly, it's also a milestone between the government of the Republic of Liberia and the government of the People's Republic of China, under the excellent leadership of Madam President Johnson Sirleaf and President Xi Jinping of China. We make good use of the rain season to obtain such achievement after Ebola period. And so, the China speed, China quality, and the China reputation. We are proud of participating in the project. We have arranged our best team and the most advanced technical in the world to ensure that we can provide the best project and the services in Liberia to Liberian people. Thanks to Madam President, and Ambassador Mr. Zhang Yue for giving vital direction to us in such a world-known project. Thanks to the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning and the China Exim Bank for providing a financial support. Thanks to Liberia Airport Authority, who announced the One Team, One Goal together with us, for helping us to carry out this important project. And thanks to Ministry of Affairs, Ministry of Justice, Ministry of State, MPW and PDU, NIC, LCAA, other ministries and friends, and even the Liberia Ambassador in China, Mr. Thomas. I need to say thank you. We deeply appreciate it. I will try our best and our work to finish this project well. We promise to dedicate ourselves to the development of Liberia, to Liberian people. I firmly believe that go forward and we are together. Thank you again.
Thank you. Announcement. Brief announcement. Immediately following the cutting of the ribbon, Her Excellency the President of the Republic of Liberia, President Sirleaf, as well as those sitting in the first row, members of the diplomatic corps, and cabinet ministers will proceed to tour whatever facility that they are right now. And thereafter, while they are doing the tour, the rest of us will proceed to the Farmington for lunch. At this time, it is an honor to welcome our chairman, the chairman of the board of directors of the Liberia Airport Authority, Honorable Wezanga M. Finley.
Her Excellency, the President of the Republic of Liberia, Madam Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, members of the legislature, members of the diplomatic corps, my fellow chairmen from other boards and government entities, members of us, ladies and gentlemen. Today we are supposed to be capping, and in the Chinese perform the Liberian tradition. So at this time I will ask the Vice President of China Harbor to please come up, because you know everybody want to know about capping. When we build, they put the white flag up, we got to bring the white flag down. So please come up. In the Liberian tradition, please come up. You as the contractor have to receive a token from the airport authority, some Liberian dollars, a white flag down. Thank you. The inception of this project is an innovation of the leadership of the President of the Republic of Liberia. Without her leadership, what you see here would not be here today. A visit to China, His Excellency the President of the People's Republic of China, led to a wonderful terminal building, as we can see here today. I will not speak long, but I will like to take this opportunity to recognize some of the people who play a major role in this project. And some of them, their faces have never been seen before. And I want to start with the former Managing Director, Madam Rose Stryker, the former Chairman of the Board, His Musa Ability, and I would like to go to those of you who play a major role behind the scene. Thomas, I know you are here, please stand. We'll ask you to stand, we have to embarrass you a little bit. Thank you, Ambassador Thomas, for doing all the good work and all of the footwork in China. Minister Connor is in here, former Minister Colley isn't here, but I see the Finance Minister. I think I saw him earlier. Will you please stand with your deputies who have played a major role. You don't know the role they play in the background. Thank you. I should have called the Minister of Foreign Affairs first. Madam Minister, the role the ministry played in getting us where we are, the Minister of Justice, with his able staff to get the contract through. The PDU, I don't know if the Minister of State with our portfolio is here. Please stand, we want to see you. Let the workers see you because they need to know you. The Minister of State, I've already mentioned that. And I want to go now to those who have collaborated on this project. The SM Bank of China. Are they here? We want to recognize the work in the financial side of this project. We also want to extend our thanks and appreciation to China Harbor, the workers, the staff, especially those of you, the small workers who were basically putting the mortar together, hauling the rocks, hauling the sand, using the shovels, the security apparatus, security forces that are here to ensure that the safety of this premises and the material was secured We want to say thank you to all of the workers, Liberian workers that work along with China Harbor. We want to, on behalf of Mr. Managing Director and your deputies, please stand wherever you are. All the deputies. On behalf of the board, we want to extend our thanks and appreciation and congratulations to you thus far for getting this project where they are. We want to also extend our thanks and appreciation to WFP. Where are they? Where are the consultants? Well, we can't see them, but they are here. We want to say thank you. Thank you, thank you. There's a special team that I also want to introduce, Anthony Tukba. Stand alert, we'll see you. Mr. Tukba is the man that we recruited. I understand he decided to move to Liberia, Madam President, so we have to readjust his contract. Mr. Tukba is our engineer, project management engineer on all of the projects at the airport. So we want to say thank you and your staff for the work well done. On my behalf and the members of the board of directors, I want to say to you, Madam President, thank you and congratulations for giving us a new building, a new runway, a new office space, a new hotel, and we I will not speak politics today. So let me just stop there, Madam President. But we want to say to all of Liberians that this terminal building is going to enhance the aviation of our country as the gateway to our nation. We now of an entry point that we all will be happy for the end of this, the completion of this project. We also want that those in the tourism industry, you need to start now to plan and work to develop said industry. We know that with the terminal building, a new runway, that our country will grow and the economy of our country will. Madam President, as I was speaking, I think I recognized one person in the crowd who I know is especially happy for this project, and that is your revenue woman. Because I know she knows that there will be more money for her to collect. I want to say thank you to all of you for coming. I ask your blessings on this project, on our entity, and we ask for prayers for the leadership of our country and the leadership of our corporation. May God bless all of us as we endeavor to have a peaceful and a peaceful completion to our elections. God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman. Ladies and gentlemen, I beg your indulgence. If you see me smiling a lot, there's a lot for me to be happy about. As our chairman stated, looking back at this is a tremendous achievement. Thank you. At this time, it is an honor to welcome our chief, the managing director of the Liberian Airport Authority, our Will Barco Freeman.
Her Excellency, Madam Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, President of the Republic of Liberia, members of the legislature here present, members of the cabinet, members, heads of other public corporations, members of the Fourth Estate, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. The Liberia Airport Authority today celebrates this historic roof capping of the Roberts International Airport Terminal Upgrade and Expansion Project, which has been ongoing since Her Excellency broke grounds on November 21st, 2016. We can certainly count it all as a big success as we have crossed the one-year mark into this phase of the construction. From the onset of this project, we promised to deliver the building from pile foundation up to the superstructure before the end of 2017. Your Excellency, I'm pleased to announce that the Roberts International Airport new passenger terminal's entire building shell, which includes the foundation and superstructure, curtain wall system, glass and panels, and roofing system, is ready for the roof capping today. This historic roof capping begins the process leading to the formal opening and operations of the Roberts International Airport's new passenger terminal by the middle of 2018, and will significantly boost the chances of regaining our pre-war status as a regional hub in West Africa and a destination of choice for travelers. I want to give special recognition and thanks to the China Harbor Engineering Company for their tremendous work, time, and effort in bringing our terminal to the project thus far. We are deeply appreciative of their level of organization and execution of this project. Thanks also to our able consultants for their expertise and guidance during the design review process, as well as their current site supervision to ensure a quality outcome. We would also like to thank the Export-Import Bank of China, Exim Bank, for the level of trust and confidence in our government and the people and the Liberia Airport Authority, which has led to the successful conclusion and signing of the loan agreement to fund this all-important national project. In addition to the people I just mentioned, I'd like to thank our LAA Project Implementation Unit, headed by Mr. Anthony Tukpa II, our Deputy General Manager for Technical Services, Mrs. Paula Farris Harvey, our engineering consultant, WSP, represented in country by Mr. Rian Swanpool for site supervision, and for China Harbor Project Manager on site, Mr. Zhen Yu. We also wanted to note and recognize 4 young talented graduates of William V.S. Tupman University in Maryland County who are currently serving as field engineers on both terminal and runway projects. There they are. Madam President, we're also pleased to inform you that since our incumbency at the helm of Liberia Airport Authority nearly 2 years ago, we have endeavored to carry out major transformation to our aviation industry by first prioritizing the development and modernization of our own international gateway, the Roberts International Airport, thereby making it a destination of choice in our sub-region and in the world. Our only international airport sustained extensive destruction to its key facilities and amenities during a 15-year conflict. We have therefore undertaken to transform and convert the damaged pre-war terminal to the new head office complex for the Liberia Airport Authority, and this project commenced on September 1st this year and is expected to also be completed by the middle of 2018 to complement the new terminal. In March of 2017, the government of Liberia, through the LAA, also signed a 25-year concession agreement with the Liberian firm, which is expected to see the construction of modern cargo to visibly improve the handling and storage of air cargo at RIA.
For the first time in more than 30 years, major international aircraft in-flight catering through our facility, which is recently refurbished with a new state-of-the-art facility called New Rest. This was one of the conditions for the return of KLM Royal Dutch Airlines. New Rest previously catered for British Airways and was concluding with Air France prior to the outbreak of Ebola. And the old Robertsfield Hotel, which was demolished due to its wanton destruction during the Civil War, has been transformed into the new 5-star Farmington Hotel, which is across the street, and where we'll be hosting you for lunch after year. And now it's a beaming light into the emerging airport city, serving as a destination of choice and comfort, and also providing the space for international and local conferences, seminars, and summits. Madam President, we cannot thank you enough for the support provided to the Liberia Airport Authority, and this support has brought us thus far. I also wanted to thank all the previous managing directors and general managers of Roberts International Airport for paving the way that we have continued to blaze today. We're ever committed to press forward landmark achievements and to ensure that the transformation set out by Your Excellency's administration for this sector is fully attained. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Freeman. One quick announcement. We have 2 performances of 3 minutes each while our protocol people make the necessary adjustment for Her Excellency to make her remarks and the cutting of the ribbon. At this time, I'd like to welcome first the Liberian dance troupe, who will perform for 3 minutes, and then we will welcome Chinese police troupe, who will also perform for 3 minutes. Then we'll have Her Excellency make her remarks. big round of applause for Mr. Kamara and the cultural troop. Thank you. At this time, we call on the Chinese UN police troop to perform. All right. At this juncture, we turn the microphone over to our protocol people to continue the next session of the program. Thank you.
The Honorable Chairman of the Board of Directors, Liberia Airport Authority, the Chairman and members of the Senate Committee on Transport, members of the legislature present, Madam Dane, and members of the Cabinet, His Excellency and People's Republic of China, members of the Diplomatic Corps, the Managing Director of the Liberia Airport Authority, members of the Export-Import Bank of China, members of the China Harbor Engineering Company, officials of government, special guests, distinguished ladies, and it is my pleasing distinguished honor to invite to the podium Her Excellency Madam Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, President of the Republic of Liberia, for special remarks and
Thanks, sit down. In 2006, when we assumed the leadership of the country, we were faced with hard choices. One of those hard choices was Roberts International Airport. We faced a runway constructed in the 1970s, no maintenance, and therefore largely deteriorated, causing difficulties to landing planes. We also knew that we had a terminal that had been destroyed, and what was being used was really most inadequate for those that will be coming to our country for several occasions. Important one being even the first inauguration. But then we looked at the other needs of the country. Schools, hospitals, a payroll that needed to be met and met on time, continuously. Roads, power, water, all the things that come out of 2 days of conflict and the destruction that result therefrom. And so we made a decision to postpone the development of RIA because we felt that the users of RIA could afford to take a little bit of pain and suffer some inconvenience to allow us on those the people. That was a conscious, hard choice. We did not anticipate that we would have faced shocks that would postpone the work we would do at the airport, because we felt the postponement in perhaps 4 years and we'd get around to the airport. That did not occur. But I'm so glad we were able to all of our citizens get the shocks and to start the process of development once again in the manner in which we had planned it. It wasn't easy. The time when we started to work on rebuilding the airport, now some financial constraints, meaning our worthiness had been affected by those shocks. But we had good friends. good partners. Partners willing to demonstrate confidence in the future of Liberia. China is one of those good friends. And we started with the ambassador here, Ambassador Yu, sat with him and said, we needed to get our runway fixed. We also went to some of our good friends when it comes to the runway, and one of them is right here, our key partner, someone who I have known since 1997 when I worked in another institution and he worked with the African Development Bank. So the runway from Saudi Arabia, our partners from those two countries, and with the support of China Harbor coming together to be able to do the runway. And the terminal was indeed a major undertaking. Some names have been called already. Ambassador Thomas, the many times he moved up and down, the many emails he sent to the ambassador, the time that he spent going there, negotiating with all the harbor. Sometimes I missed whether it's China Harbor or China something else. But all of them worked. And let me give mention to former Ambassador Lin Sontain. At that time, he was holding the position as head of the Africa Bureau within the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of China. And he also made a big push, a big pitch to get Exim Bank, China, to agree to come and do the analysis to ensure that we were in the position to take the credit and to be able to service the credit over time, thereby meeting the terms and conditions. Today, with the help of all of those, and let me mention public works, all of them have already been mentioned, but these are people who really, really took hours and hours and hours, meeting the conditions, looking at all the fine lines, justice, the managing director, people. It could not happen if everyone involved not to time, have commitment, and the perseverance to meet those conditions. There are so many times we start things and then we don't finish them because we don't have the strong willpower to be able to stay the course, to be able to do what is required to meet those conditions for moving forward. In this case, we do have the result of all of you, several of you, sitting there, have made this possible. We want to also recognize the legislature. And to have it ratified required hearings, required them reading the documents, understanding it, asking questions, being able to work with us to satisfy their questions and their queries and their suggestions. That's what makes things possible when you work together to be able to achieve a good end. I recall in 2015, I think it was the main thing that finally got the whole thing started, mentioned by Ambassador Lee, when I made a state visit to China and discussed with President Xi that this was one thing that we wanted China to do for us because we didn't think it could be done by any other partner. And President Xi made a commitment to look at it, to get his people to examine the request and that he would consider it favorably. And when I returned, I remember Ambassador came and told me, President Xi said there would be a harvest. This expression of saying that the loan would go through and we would get started. And one thing that when we did the groundbreaking for this, Ambassador gave us another thing that came from China. He said, please know that these works, whether it's annexed to the Capitol building or the ministerial conference or the terminal, that you can count on speed and quality. Today, we will look at that commitment that was made. We see the structure, but we will now and see what we can look forward to. As already in the magazines that have been passed down, we know that come sometime next year, when the structure is complete, that the Liberian people will be proud of what all of you who contributed to it have made possible. As we go to cut the ribbon, let us hope that all those who spew false information and fake news will be blessed by the spirit of Christmas. And would turn a new leaf, realizing that those things undermine the potential of your country. If we want to have a country that moves forward, development that accelerates, results, we need to know that Liberians themselves have pride in themselves, that Liberians are going to contribute to themselves, and that Liberians will recognize what has happened, the progress that has been made, which is going to be that which determines the future. Thank you all.
So the president, the protocol, the president will unveil that. There will be a presentation. Not everybody should come. The ambassador, Mr. Yi, Mr. Yao, Mr. Chen. And then from the Liberia side, we have the board, the managing director of LAA and the Minister of Finance, Honorable Kamara. They will help assist the president. After that, to come in, after the cutting of the ribbon, those who come in will be those on the first row, along with the president and members of the diplomatic corps and the cabinet. Everybody else will go to Farmington. Thank you.
Okay, please. The president will cut first, and then the rest of you will cut together. Right? Can you, I said, please let the people cut the ribbon. Come on that side. Go back. Yeah, first. Don't talk at first. Just go back.
This way. That place is
Press.
Presentation to the president on the stage. So let's go to the stage.